Hello, my name is Ricky Wascher, and I own and operate Cimamusic Mix Mastering, a recording studio based out of Tucson, Arizona. First and foremost, I hope this video finds you well. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I will be demonstrating how I track stringed instruments. Specifically in this case, I will be tracking a fiddle. So I'm not going to get into how I mix in this case. I'm not going to focus on compression, spatial effects, EQ, anything like that. This is specifically a video on tracking. So I want to talk a little bit about microphones I use, why I use them. I'm going to be showing you the room I track in and talk a little bit about that. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to run down to my tracking room and I want to show you physically how I set everything up, show you my room, and then I'm going to go ahead and track the artist off camera, and then I'm going to come back and you're going to hear the finished product within the context of the rough mix that I have up right now. The person that's going to be tracking, her name is Hannah Milner, and she is the kind of the band leader for the group, Hannah and the T-Bros, who's they're a very talented band out of Nogales, Arizona, kind of a hybrid between country and folk and rock and pop, and they're just an amazing group. So Hannah will be tracking fiddle today. So without further ado, I'm going to run downstairs and we'll take it from there. So here we are downstairs. And before I get into the details of how I set up the microphones, I just want to point out that this is the space where I do most, if not all, of my tracking when I need to mic an instrument. So this is what I refer to as my live room, my live space. This is a room that is actually, the ceilings in here are about 10 feet tall or 10 feet high. And I just like the ambience in this room. It brings a lot of, it brings whatever I'm miking to life, and I like to pick that up in the tracking process. A lot of times, for example, if I mic a drum kit, I'll set up room mics just all over this area and pick up a lot of the ambience of the room. Sometimes if I want to deaden something, I will buffer the space. See, the good thing I like about this is that there aren't a lot of parallel surfaces. So you got a wall here, you have blinds, curtains over here. So if I want to minimize the comb filtering and the slapback and all that, these crazy things that can get into the recording, I will go the extra mile and just buffer a few more things. So anyway, so let's get into the mic setup. The microphones of choice, usually when I do violin tracking, which I've actually done quite a bit recently, the mics that I usually throw up a small diaphragm condenser and a large diaphragm condenser, because both mics will give me a very distinct characteristic. And more often than not, I'll just choose one during the mixdown process and go with that one. And really, it depends on the characteristic of the instrument that I get after, when I go back and I listen to what I tracked. And then when I'm listening to the mix, and I'll figure out just which one seems to be more appropriate or just sonically sounds better for the song. This really alleviates me having to waste time setting up, half a dozen mics and doing mic tests and wasting the artist's time. So that way I just have, a couple, 3 channels. I have something to choose to pick from when I'm mixing down, and it just makes things more efficient. So this is my small diaphragm condenser mic. I'm sorry. This is a Shure SM81, and this mic I use on a considerable amount of acoustic instruments, and actually most of the acoustic instruments I track, I use this mic. I love it. It's very natural. It's very, what you hear is what you get, and I just rarely even need to do anything to that, to whatever I track with that microphone. I mean, it's just that natural and that good. And my other mic is the AKG C414, and this is the XLS. This is also a really good mic for tracking acoustic instruments. This is my go-to for overheads for drums. I use this on vocals sometimes. So I again position these over my violinist so that they're so they're equidistant from the violin, and press record and we go to town. So usually I will, really depending on, again, what characteristic I want, I'll use either my Focusrite ISA2 mic pre, or I'll go to my ART Pro MPA2, which I retubed with NOS tubes, and it just sounds warm and pretty amazing. So this is pretty much it. This is how I track violin. And one more thing I want to point out is the control room is upstairs. So I drop a snake down here to the bottom, as you can see, and I have my setup here. I have my monitoring station for the artist here, and that's pretty much it. So let's get back upstairs, and I will show you what we got out of today's session. And welcome back. We are upstairs again in the control room, and we just got finished tracking Hannah's fiddle parts. And let me say, it was just absolutely brilliant, and I'm really excited about this record being completed and finally put out to the public, so people have the privilege of hearing what I just heard today. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I want to play for you an excerpt of a song. It's called All of My Days. And I want to show you a fiddle part that I really like in that song within the context of the mix, and then I'm going to go ahead and solo the part so you can hear it by itself, and then I'll go ahead and we'll talk through that. So just keep in mind that this is still a very rough mix. The instruments haven't been tracked completely yet, so we've only got, as you heard, drums, bass, fiddle, and we've got a couple of scratch tracks that I pulled out just so that you can hear the fiddle a little more clearly. So I'll go ahead and take you to the song right now. So this is a piece of All of My Days. Okay, so I will go ahead and solo the part so you can listen to the fiddle by itself. And if you noticed, I tracked with the AKG C414 and the SM81, but I really like the tonality. I like what I'm getting from the AKG, so that's one of the reasons why I'm playing back for you just the C414 by itself. So anyways, let me go ahead and solo that part, and we'll play it for you again. Okay, and as you can hear, there's some resonance in the recording, and partially because of the instrument itself, it has the fiddle has a little bit of resonance in it, but also the resonance from the room, and as I explained before, I like the air that it brings into the fiddle, and it just gives it room to breathe. It just sounds really, really pretty. So let me go ahead and play that for you one more time together. Okay, and I also forgot to mention that there's a banjo in the background. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for today. Again, like I said, I just wanted to take you through how I track this specific instrument, the fiddle of stringed instruments, why I choose certain microphones and things like that. So as we advance through this record, I'll probably come back and bring some more excerpts and maybe some mix examples and things like that. But that's pretty much it for this video. So if you're interested in reaching out to me and if you have any questions, if you just want to talk shop, I love to talk about what I do because I like to talk about what I'm passionate about. So you can call me at 520-313-4852, or you can send me an email at cimamusic@hotmail.com, or you can go to my website if you just want to see more about what I do, read about the studio, check out my gear, listen to audio samples. My website is www.cimamusicstudio.com, or you can visit me on Facebook at facebook.com/cimamusicstudio. So thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it. And I bid you a farewell for now. Thank you very much. Peace.